provincial. Durban, to be specific, where Build One South Africa leader Mmusi Maimane is on the campaign trail today. He'll introduce provincial leaders to supporters and visit areas that were affected by last year's floods, but are yet to be rebuilt. Karinda Jagmohan is following that leg of the story for us, and you're standing by to tell us just how much support Mmusi Maimane enjoys in KwaZulu-Natal. Good morning, Karinda.
Good morning, Dudu. Well, we're going to find that out today. Of course, this is the start of their election campaign, essentially, here in KwaZulu-Natal, and I understand that tours will be happening countrywide. But let's speak to the Build One SA leader himself, Mr. Mmusi Maimane. Thanks for speaking to us, sir. Of course, you're coming to KZN now as the leader of this new party. How do you expect, or where do you expect to see possible supporters emanate from?
Yeah. Thank you very much. First and foremost, as Build One South Africa, we're a party that represents South Africans who believe in values of Ubuntu, who stand, particularly young South Africans between 25 and 40. We believe strongly that across all racial groups, black, white, Indian and colored, there are South Africans who share those values, who actually, when we look at our 10-point plan, say, let's fix eThekwini, let's fix eThekwini's education system, let's ensure that ultimately the road infrastructure here is built, let's make sure that the hospitals work. And I'm here today to engage those citizens. We are not interested in ethnic mobilization in the sense that you want to segment people on issues on race, on faith or any of that. What we want is South Africans who share common values. And as I've laid out our stall on the centrist ideas, the ideas that we put forward, we are seeing more and more young people saying, someone is speaking for us on education, someone is speaking for our safety, and someone ultimately wants to fight for us to build one South Africa.
Certainly here in KZN, we've gone through a lot of trauma considering the past 3 years. Is there something that you say you can bring differently to the table compared to even the party that you were part of before?
Well, I think what needs to happen is that part of what's gone on here is the politics. The city of eThekwini itself has got a mayoralty difficulty, which means it's incapable of delivering. The provincial system doesn't work easily because, as you can see, even post the flood, none of the rebuilding has taken place. So there are a couple of key things that we've got to do. One, we've got to re-engage communities. Political parties have failed at doing that. We need candidates that come from KZN, come from communities, represent the people of KZN so that they can stand up. The second thing is, we've got to bring the competence. Now, one of the things I've done in the last number of years is obviously, even now as I'm completing a PhD on local government economics, is to make sure that we have a plan to rebuild. And there are practical things that we've begun to do them now, in activism, in showing people that actually we are here to fix. Today I'm here to see at a water treatment plant. It's not just a question of raising the issue, but it's engaging engineers. It's about making sure that we actually can produce a solution as to how we fix the matter. And then lastly, I do think we need to realize that even on issues of security, our policy position says, let's not depend on national government. Let's come back here, aggregate local policing, private security, bring it together so that citizens can feel safe. We can do that now, prior to an election, and post an election, to be able to amend the law to bring localized policing so that the city is safe.
I mean, you're certainly reintroducing yourself to the people of KZN just in terms of this new party. Can you tell us about who we'll see on the ground here that will represent Build One SA?
Yeah, we've got a great team here, led by Ntokozo Biela. And we are seeing more and more South Africans who are coming. We've got religious leaders. We've got various civic society organizations that have come to join us. So part of the work that we're doing here isn't just to say, let's just bring politicians. Ntokozo himself comes from a business community. You've got civic society leaders. You've got religious leaders. And what we're saying is, bring fresh, because I'm tired of politicians, to be honest with you. I find the political class has become a bunch of citizens who then come in to a city, forget what goes on, and ultimately are not engaged with issues of the community. Even myself, I've had to come out and say, look, you've got to rehabilitate the politics, because it's time for activism now. It's time for us to do things. So We're bringing in a diversity of a team, and I'm grateful that citizens are coming together to work with us.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you're a politician yourself, sir. Just lastly now, honestly, this is something every party has said, just in terms of saying that they're going to rebuild, they're going to assist people, they care for the people on the ground. Are you going to be physically representing your party, or your party be physically in certain communities? Where can we see your party in KZN?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just only in communities. I mean, let me give you a real practical example. For example, Bossa, we've set up and said, if you want to represent your community, you don't even have to be a member of the party. You have to be a member of your community, stand up publicly, and we will work with you to deliver in that community. Whereas typically a political party will just come in and say, here's the person we're bringing in. No, we want communities to be at the forefront. In the business sector, in various communities, you will be seeing us physically engaged in all sectors of society. That's the challenge.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. Well, let's see what's going to happen on the ground, Dudu. We've just spoken to Mmusi Maimane. This is the start of his election campaign in eThekwini in KZN. They're going to introduce a new leader, but I'll stay with the organization just for the better part of the day to see how the residents of KZN, who have been through so much over the past 3 years, will receive him and the ideals he's professing here. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Karinda Jagmohan.